This is my Saturday morning Vietnamese coffee, and this is in my Mount Fuji glass where you can see Mount Fuji right there. But then if you look over here, there's actual Mount Fuji. That's pretty cool. So it's a Saturday, and every Saturday I have a Vietnamese coffee, which is a habit I've been doing since I went to Vietnam on my honeymoon 16 years ago. And I've done this everywhere I've gone, from Antarctica to Japan to Europe to wherever. Vietnamese coffee is just condensed milk, drip coffee, and I add cream. Worth a try. Anyway, today we're going to look at how you go about finding Akiyas in Japan. And there are a number of different ways to do it. The most common way is through Akiya banks, but Akiya banks can be a real pain, and I'll explain to you some of the issues that you'll have to deal with. There'll be links in the description box below to take you to the various sites where you can actually look for Akiyas. This is where the journey really begins, so let's get into it. The first thing you do is go to akiyabanks.com, which luckily puts all of the Akiya banks in Japan together in the one place. And you can search it by regions or prefectures or municipalities. You can also go to the map and select various prefectures just by clicking on the different areas, which I think is probably the best way actually. But you can also go down to the bottom of the page and find recent listings on the Akiya banks, which can be helpful, worth having a look, and you see all the prices there. But the other way is to simply type in the name of the place that you want to have a look at. In my case, I'm looking at Shimizu, which is a town in the Shizuoka prefecture. And that will take me to Shimizu Akiya Bank, which you click on. And then it says, yes, there is an Akiya Bank. So you click on available properties in English, and it takes you to a page which translates luckily to English. These forms often have issues with them, and this message will come up. Just click on go to original URL and move on. But also the listing of the prices is kind of random. If you want to get a listing that is lowest price to highest price, starting at the lowest, you go up here and you go to the fourth one down. Unfortunately, it's not in English, but if you go to the fourth one down, that will give you the prices from lowest to highest, which makes your job a little bit easier. As you can see here, they go from 5.8 million up to, well, whatever. But my price range is no more than 5 million yen, which is about 50,000 Australian dollars, or probably 35,000 US, I suppose. So you go to one of these sites, one of these houses that you pick, and you get this problem here where it just spools and you don't get a decent photo of the actual house. Sometimes it pops up relatively quickly, and this one's not a bad looking place, but then it starts spooling again. And the Japanese internet service is really good and really fast, much faster than Australia, and you still get this kind of issue. So prepare to be slightly frustrated. It won't go away. So the other thing you can do is just zoom in on some of these photos, and even though they're not good quality, it gives you an idea of what the place is like. And you can always pursue it further by contacting the actual real estate agent. And see, now we go back to the actual larger photo and it's still spooling. So be prepared for this. It's not the end of the world. And as I said before, you can actually choose by prefecture on the map, which I think is a much easier way to go. So I know where Shizuoka Prefecture is, so I click on it. It gives you an alphabetical listing of the various places in Shizuoka Prefecture. And I'm interested in Izu, so there is an Akiya bank. Click on the list of properties in English. It translates, and if you read down through here, you can see that there's certain subsidies that they'll give you if you purchase the land and house. In this case, 300,000 up to 300,000 yen, which is about $3,000, which helps, especially if you want to get rid of stuff that's in the house, because it's quite expensive to get rid of stuff in Japan. What you're really looking for is the Akiya bank for this area, or the vacant house bank they call it, which is up here. So you click on that and it takes you to listing of various houses. Some of these are for rent, some of these are to buy, and you can see the selection here. And then you'll just click on them and that will take you to the actual house, and you can decide whether that's something you want. And from there you contact the local council. There's usually a contact, and I've found that you can email them and someone will usually get back to you in English. Now I just clicked on this one because it looked quite nice. It's under negotiation, and as you can see, it's a pretty decent looking house. Not sure about the fence, but the house itself is in pretty good condition. It's not full of junk. You could move straight in, you get your own deer, and it's in not a bad neighbourhood. Lots of greenery around it, as you can see, and it's got a bit of a view. Now I don't know in this case whether it's close to local amenities or whatever, but you can look into that. You've narrowed it down to a prefecture. In this case it's Kanagawa, and we want to look at, say, Odawara. So you click on Odawara and it says that they have an Akiya bank. You think, great. So then you go click on the list of available houses and you get the page you were looking for was not found. And you think, okay, so maybe if I go to the Odawara city page, I will find something on there. And you do that and the page you're looking for is not found. Now this process is frustrating, no doubt about it, and you will get depressed over time dealing with it. So please don't run away from home. It's not worth it. Akiya banks are not the only way you can find houses in Japan. There are a number of other sites. One of them that's very useful is Sumo, which translates into English when you bring it up. There's also Little Homes, which will do the same. And my favourite is Akiya Mart, which also produces maps that helps you decide where you want to go. And the other aspect of Akiya Mart is that even though it's a paid site, if you're looking for houses below $30,000, it will find them for you without any charge. It's only when you go up higher you need to pay a subscription fee.
Gradually, you'll compile a list of properties that you're interested in and print them out, keep them with you so you can take them with you to Japan and show the real estate agents what you're after, or the Akiya Bank council people. Currently, the exchange rate means that 5,800,000 yen, which is what that means there, is $58,000. That's $33,000. As you can see, these have been printed out in Japanese, but you can get Google to translate them for you, and it's pretty easy. This property is the one that you'll see in the video today, And as you can see, it's $58,000, but the real estate agent felt that we could probably get it for $50,000.
My first stop was Izu Peninsula, mainly because it had a lot of beaches and my daughter loves surfing. And now we're in the air on our way to Tokyo. Woohoo! New house, here we come. There we are, in Tokyo! Yay! We're back! Our first step was getting a SIM card. So we just called it to shuttle bus from Terminal 1 to Terminal 2, and we picked up our voice data SIM card from a booth here. It cost $100 for 5 gigabytes for 1 month, 30 days. And the advantage of having one that gives you a phone number is that a lot of places here, they want the phone number, especially if you're involved with looking to buy real estate or something like that, and for other things as well. And so now that we have it, Miso and I can contact each other by phone or phone friends here in Japan. So now we're just about to catch a bus to our accommodation and then have a good night's sleep. Japanese convenience stores are really convenient. You can get just about anything and the food is fantastic. We just did a very smooth 40-minute trip from the airport to our hotel, which is in Chiba, and got off the train, came up to the hotel. Everything's very smooth, and they just upgraded us, which is very nice, to a better room. So we just come into a hotel room, and here in Japan, my wife often gets these deals where this hotel room was about $75, $78, something like that, and it's really great. I'll just give you a look around. So as you can see, it's quite a nice room. We got bumped up. We had a double bed, but got bumped up and they had these 2 twin beds. And this is, I'll just show you the bathroom. Here's the bathroom.
These things are amazing. They do so many things. And the seats are warm.
This is actually not bad size for Japan. This is pretty decent. And it's right next to the station. It only took like a few minutes walk. And there's Chiba. Well, our first night in Tokyo, or Chiba at least, has gone really well. Great room, great place. We decided to take the buffet breakfast option for about $15 each. And the selection was really amazing. Like, the food in Japan is fantastic, and these buffets are just great. Food is fresh, it's pretty healthy, it's got so much variety that it'll be one of the aspects of Japan that you'll love the most. In just over an hour from Tokyo, you can reach the top of the Izu Peninsula, and the main town there is called Atami. The east coast of the Izu Peninsula is very popular in the summer months, and it also has a number of onsen or hot springs. We hired a car in Atami and we headed down the coast. And our first stop was Ito, and we stayed at this beautiful place in Ito, and it's an onsen and traditional sort of ryokan or inn, and on the back of it is a river. It's just a lovely, lovely spot, and we had a great time here. This was our room. This was outside, just looking along the river. And it wasn't very far from anything that we needed to do. And there's my wife working on the computer as usual. Japan's a great place for being a digital nomad. And this is momiji, or maple leaf tree.
One thing you shouldn't do in Japan is jaywalk. So you wait for the man to go green before you walk. They frown on that here if you walk against the lights. Rents are also pretty cheap here. You're only looking at about, say, $460, $480 a month. There's 400, 500. That's a bit more expensive. It's 640, 650, something like that. But as you can see, compared to Australia, the rental prices are a hell of a lot less. I'm here with Hamada-san, and we're just about to head off to look at some properties that he has recommended, a little way out from town, and so it should be an interesting day. Mr Hamada-san has been very helpful, and I recommend you coming to see him if you're looking for a place. We've just come up to look at our first property, and there's a deer down there on the path. And there's the view. Ah, it's beautiful, isn't it? Oh, I like that. And this is the first house that we're looking at. Dozo.
どっちかというと北東方向ですかね。北東方向。あれが初島。だから朝日がこんな感じで上がってくる。じゃあ。大丈夫です。
Good thing I had my hat. Yeah, that's right, like a duck.
これ和室だから。
That's cute. That's nice.
You know, we can use Spider-Man.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, that last one is a bit of an exaggeration, I admit.
So you can see the
view as you're having your bath. And this is the parking space.
So that was our first house we looked at in Japan on the Izu Peninsula. Now, don't be upset if you don't find your house on the first go. Don't really expect that, because it's unlikely to happen. You need to look at a few places. You need to get clear on what it is you want. And when you go and have a look at some of these places, you realize, oh, I didn't actually want that. Oh, but I do want that. So that helps you narrow it down. Now, the reasons why we didn't choose that place were 4 in number. The first one was that it was at the upper end of my budget. So at $50,000, I would have had to add another probably $5,000 to $7,500 to cover all the expenses, real estate agents' fees, taxes, all that kind of stuff. The second reason was that that actual house was part of a resort area, and those resorts require ongoing fees, maintenance fees, onsen fees, and so it's a bit of a added expense that is continuing, which I didn't really want. Thirdly, that kind of place you really needed a car, because it's right up on the top of a hill. Unlikely that we were going to walk that every day or every few days. And the fourth reason, which wasn't so important, was that it was about 2.5 hours on the normal train from Tokyo. So it was a bit of a hike to get into the city. If you didn't need to go into the city that often, then it'd be fine. So it wasn't a major contributor to our decision, but it's one of the things you have to take into account. How far away from the train station are you? How long will it take you to get places? So for all those reasons, we decided against it. But the Izu Peninsula is very pretty. It's got a lot of potential, and it may be the kind of place that's right for you. In the next video, we're going to look at some of the other places on the Izu Peninsula, some a bit more inland, some on the coast, and look at the issues that are involved with a lot of these places. So I hope you'll join us on that one, and we'll also look at why Japan has this issue with the Akiyas. And the only advice I can give you right now is to begin, because if you never start, you'll never get there. So start researching for the Akiya of your dreams, and the links are in the description box below. And I'll see you on the next video.